you're doing well. Good to see everybody. If I could really see you, but tonight I'm gonna make. I got it from the Pioneer Woman cookbook. A dear friend gave me that cookbook for Christmas, and I want to try the rigatoni and pasta sauce. Now the meatballs are gonna be my own recipe because I'm using very lean beef, and I'm trying to use less salt. But the sauce I'm going to use for her recipe. So I'm going to try to get all my ingredients ready, and we can whip it up, and it'll be a quick video, as quick as I can make it. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the recipe, and thank you for watching. Okay, this is my meatball ingredients, and let me show you my pasta I'm using. I actually keep the pasta in here, and I kind of mix some of that corkscrew pasta up with it. So you need about 2 pounds. I didn't weigh this, I'm just guessing, but it's got a couple of these in here. It's not going to hurt anything. And we're going to boil these al dente. My water's on the stove, getting ready to boil. And for the meat, she calls for pork and beef. I'm going to try to make this lean with 93.7 meat. And I cooked my onions and my garlic like I did my last meatball recipe. I think that makes it just so good. It just gives it such a good flavor. And I have some freshly grated Parmesan cheese I'm going to use. I have some parsley that I actually grew, and I said, well, I might as well use my parsley because it's just out there. And I also have some oregano that I grow, so I'm going to use a little bit of this. And eggs, milk, and she uses dried French bread, but I'm going to just use breadcrumbs because I like that. Salt and pepper, and I already said the milk. Did I say the eggs? 2 little eggs for 2 pounds of meat. And I might have the sauce recipe and save the meatballs for something else. Well, I don't know yet, but I'm going to open this up, and then we're going to start mixing and boiling the pasta. The oven is preheated to 425 on convection. I might have it a little bit too high, but we'll see. I'm in a hurry. This was about 1 small onion and probably about 4 or 5 garlic cloves. But see how they kind of caramelize? It just gives it a sweet flavor. And you know I like to use red onion a lot, but today it was yellow onions. So I'm just going to throw this in here. And you could add more if you want to. And I just put a little olive oil in them to cook them. Sorry, I'm not going to bang it. And I also grew this little, I forgot to say, this little jalapeno. And Ella's been into spicy food lately, so I'm going to add just about half of that, which is not really Italian, but who cares. I'm going to put my eggs in and my milk. I guess the milk is for moisture. I'm not going to measure the breadcrumbs. I'm just going to kind of guess. It's probably about 2/3 of a cup. Let's do the fresh oregano, the fresh parsley. It's not a lot of parsley, but that's what she calls for. So I'm going to do some pepper, and I've been trying to watch my salt lately, so I'm not going to add much salt because we're going to be putting some Parmesan cheese in here, I believe. But I do like black pepper. A little salt. That's probably too much. And let me see about the... She calls for 3/4 of a cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm just gonna... I grated some of it fine. I just grated some of it larger. It doesn't matter. We like a lot of cheese. I'm gonna save some for the top. So let me mix this, and then we'll make the meatballs. Depends on your preference, how large you like your meatballs. It's pretty soft, but I think they're gonna hold together. You know, I thought about using the Instant Pot, but I have not used the Instant Pot for meatballs yet. I'm going to test the recipe soon to see, because I love the Instant Pot. It just makes everything so much easier. So I'm just going to make them about this size. Am I in the camera? Yeah, about that size. And they're going to brown well with that convection on, I think. And they shouldn't take but about, I would say, 12 minutes. And then while they're baking, we're going to whip up the sauce. And there won't be much fat coming out of here because this is really lean meat. You know, you can also use the ground pork and ground beef if you like that. I really like it. I'm just trying to eat some leaner proteins. You know, just to cut back in a couple places. And you can add as much onions and garlic as you want, but when you cook it like that, it really makes a difference. I showed y'all that recipe on another video. I learned that from Gordon Ramsay, one of his videos. These might be a little big, but it's good. So I'm gonna make these, and then I'll show you how many I get. Meatballs. And I might have rolled them a little bit larger than most people like, because they're not gonna shrink much because the meat's pretty lean. But I got, you know, I didn't count them, I'm sorry. But I have to use 2 pans. So I'm gonna put them in the oven, set the timer for 12 minutes, and then we'll start on that sauce that we're gonna make up. Because it's got a lot of basil in it, and I don't have basil. So we're just gonna make up some other spices. Just a few ingredients, but I just wanted to show you these tomatoes that I'm using. I usually like the ones that say San Marzano, but these are close to it. These are Italian style peeled tomatoes. I have to crush those, and this is just plain crushed tomatoes. So I'm gonna open these, but first we're gonna start sauteing our onions and garlic, and we're gonna put this on. I guess I'll put it on the high side, and I'm gonna put olive oil. Another thing that you could add is red wine. I don't like to cook with wine, so I never use it. But it's also, some people really like it, so you could try that. This recipe is gonna be really totally different than what I said. I'm gonna make up the spaghetti sauce or the Italian sauce that we like to eat. So let me get this warmed up and open these cans, and I'll be back. And a little tiny bit of jalapeno. Our oil's hot. This is actually mostly yellow onion, just a tiny bit of purple onion, but we like a lot of onions. I could even use more, actually. But the meatballs have onions in them too, so. Let me get another spoon so you don't have to hear that noise. I apologize. I forget. I'll just use this spoon. So I'm going to cook these a little bit and turn the fire down. It's a little too high. And that noise is Ella crushing the can of tomatoes. And now I'm going to add, I chopped a lot of garlic today for this recipe. So I'm going to add probably about, I don't even know. I would say it's about 4 cloves. You know, you need a lot of garlic. I'm going to chop more. I'm getting low on garlic, actually. It's pretty sticky. It's kind of annoying. Just going to cook this a little bit. And I like these tomatoes. Perfect, Ella. Thank you. Because they are just a tiny bit sweet. And, you know, that's how we kind of like our spaghetti sauce. No, not yet, baby. Almost. I mean, I'll also save my Parmesan rind. I'm going to put that in there. Let's add a little salt to our onions. And I'm probably going to add a little dried oregano, a little Italian seasoning, black pepper, and I'm going to add a little crushed red pepper. Let's see if I can find it. I have a lot of spices to look for. Here it is. You don't have to add this if you don't want to. Ella just wants spicy food lately, so I'm just spicing it up for her. And you know, I'm gonna add just a pinch of this dried basil. Not much. We don't care for it too much. That looks perfect. You want to get just a tiny bit of color on your onions. Oops, sorry about that. So let's go ahead and, you want a deep pot because when your tomatoes start to come to a boil, you don't want it to splatter all over your stove. It's a mess. Sometimes I try to avoid spaghetti sauces. Check the meatballs. They look good. I forgot to put the timer on. Let me put 5 more minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and, I don't even know if I want to add all of these. Let me hit this thing. depends on how much sauce you want to make. So I don't think I'm going to add the whole can of the other. Ella crushed those up really well because they were whole and they're peeled. I like them to be peeled. Let's add just a little bit of this. I'm not going to make all this today. And I'm sure it freezes well. I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot. I don't know which one. I've just been doing that lately. So let's stir this in. Look at the color. And now if you want to add the red wine, I would add it now. Let's add a little Italian seasoning. I just have this cheap version. I can tell you what it has in it. Let's see. If I can see it. Spices, including thyme and oregano. That's all it has in it. So I'm going to use this oregano. And I put the fresh oregano in the meatballs. So you don't want it to be too overpowering. And I'm going to add just a pinch of basil because I do like it a little. But I prefer it dried actually. So let me cook this. Oh, I'll make one more thing I forgot. Very important. I lost it. Here it is. I saved these and I always put it in the sauce. You know, I need to use these, so I'm gonna put both of them for flavor. I'm gonna turn this on low and just let this cook. And then, did I add salt and pepper? I don't think, yeah I did. So I'll be back in a second. Just a little bit of beef stock, probably about half a cup. I like the flavor of that together. So I just wanted to, I'm going to replace the beef stock instead of the red wine. It already smells really, really nice. Been cooking for about 10 minutes. Here's the meatballs. I cooked them for about 12 minutes. And now I'm going to just add them in the sauce. And I'm also going to be adding more Parmesan cheese. I like a lot of cheese. And I even like to put mozzarella on the top. So this is going to be cheesy rigatoni. I might have to add more of those tomatoes. Or I might just save some of the meatballs or just throw them all in here. This will freeze really well too. I like to have freezer meals for days you don't feel like cooking. I'm just going to stuff them in here. I might save one to taste. Yeah, I'll keep this one so we can taste it. Okay, let's stir this around. This looks great already. I might have to add a little more beef stock. It depends on how thick you like it. So let me cook this for a few more minutes. It's not going to take long. And we'll be back. Taste of the meatballs. Let me tell you, this meatball recipe is just, it's just my favorite now. Let's just look at the inside. I can't even do it in the camera right, but it's, you can't even tell it's really lean ground meat. It's so moist and tender. See, I just don't know how it would work in the Instant Pot. But I'm going to try it. But the sauce is really, really good. I'm just going to let it cook for just a few more minutes, and then we're going to serve it up. It's going to be great. Can't wait. Take the rind out, and it kind of melts in there. It's really good. It gives it a lot of flavor, I find. But it's been cooking for about 10 minutes. It's a pretty easy recipe. And you don't have to have the rinds, you know. They kind of... I kind of want to eat it. Ella, I've got two, baby. I need the plate. Okay. Never mind. I got it. Okay. Those have done their job. So you know what? I think this is... The only thing I didn't add is our little pinch of sugar. That's what we always add. And the tomatoes are pretty sweet already, that brand. So I'm just going to add just a pinch of sugar. Oh, Ella. Mix that in. And clean up my stove. And I'll be reading the recipe, and the Pioneer Woman actually does add sugar to her spaghetti sauce as well, or rigatoni sauce, meatball sauce, whatever you want to call it. But there's so many things you can do with these meatballs if you you don't finish the spaghetti. I mean the rigatoni. I keep saying spaghetti. You know, you can make meatball sliders. You could make pizza, sub sandwiches. So we're gonna plate this up. I'm gonna top it with some cheese, and we're gonna see how it really tastes over the pasta. I'm gonna make a bowl for a picture, but I like to add a little bit of mozzarella on my pasta for the sauce to melt it. If you like cheese, you could do it this way. I just wanted to tell you that. Next thing I'm gonna do, you can mix it if you want to, but I just put the sauce on top. I'm gonna add the fresh Parmesan cheese, and you can grate this smaller. It might be better, but I like to have, I don't know, I just like the saltiness of it, which I'm not supposed to have a lot of salt. And here's some fresh parsley. I'm gonna cover it with that. Hopefully you can see the sauce still. And isn't that gorgeous? Can't wait to taste it. Okay, I'll put more cheese because I like cheese. But I'm gonna cut the meatball so you can see. I put a lot of cheese. I love the mozzarella too. See the meatball, it's just so, even though I use lean meat, it's still moist. When you cook those onions and the garlic like that, it really makes a moist meatball in my opinion. And it doesn't take very long to cook it. So I'm just gonna get a little pasta, a little sauce. You could mix this all together if you want. This looks so good. We already tasted it, it's really good. That is delicious. And like I said, you can add the red wine if you want to. I find that I like it without. And I like all the spices we added. I hope you try this recipe. It's just kind of like, you kind of have to season it like you like. So I'm not going to really put a recipe down below. And I have a meatball recipe already for a video. It's kind of hot. I'm sorry. It's hot in here. But thank you for watching. I really hope you try this recipe, especially the meatballs are so good. Come back tomorrow for our new recipe, or the next day. Not quite sure what I'm going to film next. I hope you enjoy this recipe, and I hope you enjoy the video. I hope it's not too long. And I really appreciate all my subscribers. And thank you, and have a great day. Bye.